Welcome to the Outside the Business Boxes podcast, where we're talking about how to ignite your business today for the future using systems for everything you do in your business to make your life, your employees' lives, and your customers' lives easier for you to ultimately enjoy your business and, of course, make more money. I'm your host, Chad Murray. Thank you for coming this week again to my Outside the Business Box podcast. I am Chad Murray, your host. I'm excited to talk this week because today I have a whole bunch of Hodge Podge issues and development and training, hiring. It's just I'm all over the place today. Just my thoughts of what we're doing at Masters, what I'm dealing with a lot of my coaching clients, and just where you should be at, where you could be at today, and where you want to be looking forward into the future, like this fall. And so a lot of this is going to be for any size business. It won't matter. How do you staff for the fall is a big topic right now. Everybody's focused on how to staffing right now because let's just face it, a lot of people aren't going to work due to they're lazy, and who cares? That's just the facts. They're getting paid by the government, but all that in most states is ending, if not this month or the next quarter. By the time we get to the fall, hopefully our gene pool will open up to have more people to hire. But how do you staff this year after last year? And it really shouldn't be that much different. But I mean, I'll tell you what we're doing at Master Services and what has been our everlasting long bad hiring practices, which have changed this year to better hiring practices. We did hire a consultant to help us figure out how to take out better ads, how to have a better hiring process. Our training is doubled in the time before you hit a truck for sales. Our training for how to do out in the field, getting the work done, is pretty easy. I already have 5 or 6 core guys that know how to do the work. So it's just essentially you get hired to get thrown out. You do a little bit inside work on anatomy of a chimney, a little bit of rope training in our shop, and you're thrown out with a bag of rope fall kit, and you're gonna start learning on the job. That's how we teach guys how to do the work, because they're already getting thrown in with a bunch of guys that already know how to do it. So it's the educators and the sales is where we have fallen down in the past, and really even trying to just staff for more field lead stuff. We've gone to a system of always hiring, which we've tried to do that in the past, but right now we're really staffing. It's June 14th as I record this, and we're staffing for this fall. We're busy enough to be able to support it. I know a lot of people have heard me over the past whine about how we're not making money at Masters. The fact of the matter is, the last 5 weeks, we have made money. Not a lot, but we're making money, which is nice. We're not killing it, but we're not losing money. And we're doing this all with staff. I mean, a month ago when we were losing money, we were probably overstaffed for what we have, and we're overstaffed now. We've got educators lined up. Cody, my sales guys, told me the other day that we have like literally 4 guys in training right now to be educators. We've got a bunch of guys starting to work out in the field, and we're continuing to hire there. So to kind of give you how to hire, to give you an idea of what our new system is you're really taking out 3 different kinds of ads. One for a real high level manager, even though you're not looking for a manager, maybe you are, but you're looking for good people. So you take out a high level manager, and then you take out a high level skilled position, and then you take out a general ad for that same position. So if you're sales, you're going to take an ad out for sales manager. Then you're going to take an ad out for a high class 1%er, really going for the gusto on what you're offering, and then you're taking out an average sales ad. It's going to bring in anywhere from 15 to 40 apps in 2 to 3 days. It's crazy how we've learned to do this and how to word them. But you really just get into it, and you do a high level ad, and the apps start coming in. And then you start weeding the people out, and eventually you'll get one guy a week, maybe two, but you keep doing it to where you finally start getting some really high class guys that fit your culture and fit the job that you want to do it. And you just never pretty much stop. I mean, I know some of these other big chimney companies, they figured this out. They figured out how to get past 5 million by always training and hiring. So why can't the little guys do that? Why can't your average guy do that? I mean, if you just took one guy in training all the time, what does that solve? I'll tell you, if you're making money and you're in the chimney business, you probably are. Why can't you keep someone in training in the field, someone in training for sales at all times? Because what this does, it solves, you're always going to have a better guy than the next guy, or you're going to elevate the next guy because now there's a little bit of a competition because they know their job. The employees aren't so dependent on. I mean, think about that. If you know someone's in training, if you're a top guy, you're not going to become a prima donna if you've got another guy in the pipeline that could take your place. But if you're always the main guy and there's never going to be another guy behind you, you're going to start copping an attitude if that happens. It's happened to me a lot. It's happened to almost every one of my clients. Everybody has a prima donna, or at some point in time. Why? How do you kill the prima donnas? It's simple. Have someone to really take their place. And then when they become a prima donna, fire them. Let someone take their place. But then you have another guy hired and you keep going. And then finally, eventually, you're going to have the culture that you're trying to get with, you're trying to create. Even good guys that have great culture, this happens to everybody. And so if you think you can't replace people, keep training people and you can replace people at will. It will take the culture of bad apples occurring when they think they're relied on, and they know that they find out, they figure it out. Well, make it to where they're not as relied upon. I mean, it's a small thing. It's a new way to think, because a lot of people are, well, I'm too small. I'm too small to do that. Well, are you to have one extra guy in training? Are you all too small? I mean, it brings to another point on how to save your money correctly. How do you save your money correctly? I'll tell you what I did a long time ago. What I did to save my money was, I mean, you hear the Profit First and you hear all these other books that are out there that are great. Well, I kind of did all this kind of accidentally. And all I do is I never paid myself. Let me say that again. I never paid myself more than I needed. So I never paid myself first or profited first. But what I did was I put myself on an imaginary salary even before I was a W-2 employee, which I am a W-2 employee now. I would get it to where I'd pay my bills, and then every dollar after my bills were paid went into my business account. And then as I started building that up, it only took me, so when I first started that, probably about 15, 16 years ago, because I was always kind of having to go get money. I was always trying to have lines of credit. I was always never had enough money in the slow time. So what I did is I would take that extra money that I didn't need, instead of going to waste it on something new or something, I would just save it. And I started at 10,000, and it didn't take me, took me about a year and a half, and I was up to $55,000. Took me another year and a half, and I was up to 100 grand. And at the time, I was only probably $1 million company. Well, then we started growing, and that 100 grand wasn't even big enough to even save. So then we would get lines of credit, so we'd keep our money at 100 grand. Anytime we got below 100 grand, we would go get a line of credit, or we would use our line of credit. So, well, let me take that back. So we got below 50 as we were growing, and then we got to a point where we never wanted to be below 100. And so all I did is I just didn't spend over what I needed. And I know the American way is to spend, but if you're in business, you got to be more disciplined with your money. And when you become more disciplined with your money, the opportunities will come later. And so go 3 or 4 years being very super disciplined and get your what we call your nut money up to 30, 40, $50,000. And then you don't have to use lines of credits. Or when you do use a line of credit, you can pay it off quick. And so you don't have to go down into your deep down into getting tight on money. And so just I'll tell you, it's very, very nice to know you never have to worry about paying the bills. And we hit that pinnacle about 15 years ago where I never worry about paying my mortgage, paying payroll. I've never worried about paying payroll. I always paid them first. And so no matter what. So now we'll go to another subject. We'll talk about, how do you staff? How do you figure out your numbers? Like, I did my class on numbers. And one of the things that I do is when you start tracking your numbers, you can start knowing how many people you need. So a lot of the businesses that I deal with now are smaller companies. They're 1, 2, 3 truck companies. And when I ask them, well, how booked out were you last year in the fall? Oh, we were booked out for 3 months, 4 months. Well, the crazy thing about that is you don't solve the growth scaling thing to solve out to not being scaled or so booked. Why? I mean, if you were booked out 3 months come November last year, why are you not in August training someone to do the easy work, the easy truck stuff, the flash seals, the waterproofing, the mortar crown, the cleaning a chimney, the tuck points, all this stuff that you can save your other crews that know how to do the big installs, the big masonry work. So what we do is we label them easy trucks. So we'll hire guys in August to just do the easy stuff, and we try to keep them. A lot of times when you go through a mass hiring, you're going to find that by February, 4 or 5 guys need to go, and it's okay because you're going to slow down anyway. So, but I'll tell you, other than COVID year, we went 4 or 5 years with never really even laying off because these guys would kind of weed themselves out come January anyway. But a lot of people are scared to add those extra trucks and when to do it and how to do it. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you're even booked out right now, I mean, it's June. If you're booked out 3 months, why are you not hiring? If you're even booked out 6 weeks, why are you not hiring? I mean, are you not making money? And if you're not making money, you're booked out 6 weeks. It's time to nut up and be a better business person. You need more people. And as hard as it is now, you need to start finding them. And you got to do what it takes to get some guys in there to start doing some easy work. I mean, this philosophy of some of these guys out there saying it takes 6 months to a year to train somebody. Well, I got to tell you, what are you going to do when you need people now? You're just going to muffle through and lose money while you wait a year to train someone to do a tuck point? Really? I can train anybody to do a tuck point in really a day. Really, one job. I can train anybody to do a mortar crown in one day. I can train anybody to install a cap in one day. I mean, we're not talking about hard stuff. Now, sales guys, yeah, if you want to develop a sales guy, which we call educators, the fact of the matter is to do it right. I mean, we used to do it. And I know some of these bigger companies that may be listening, like, oh no, we spend 6 months to a year for that. Okay, great, good for you. I used to spend 3 weeks. Now I spend 6 weeks. 6 weeks, I can get a guy out there to run through an inspection program to show and identify, and then eventually we've started getting everybody certified so that they know more than what they should, or not more than they should. They know more how to talk more chimney, and so, but to do an inspection on a masonry or a prefabricated wood burner is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about NFI gas. I'm not talking about pellet stuff. I'm talking about, at least if you train people to take care of the masonry burning chimney, an easy way to do it is get easy trucks. Get 4 guys trained on doing that, and watch yourself start making money. I mean, I make no less than $15,000 to $30,000 a week in the winter. I mean, just pounding it out. And so, if we're staffed right, I make $20,000 to $40,000 a week profit. And so, and that's low. I really think we should be really be gunning for around $50,000 profit a week when we're really nailing it. And so it can be done. I'm starting to see my numbers more deeply to start giving better goals, better guys to be able to hit that. So I'll just kind of give you a little analysis of how you should staff your company. So if you start tracking your numbers and you start having an SBO of $1,000 per sales guy, okay, and you're going to give him 20 appointments a week. Well, if he has an SBO of 1,000, he's going to be pulling in 20K a week, 20,000 a week. Okay, so a lot of these guys that are smaller, that are approaching the 1 million, maybe you're a little under, maybe a little over. By separating the sales to where they're not just doing the work, you get one guy doing 20 new opportunities. An opportunity is a new estimate / inspection suite. Okay, $1,000 an average. So that means they may have a closing ratio of 50%, so they're only selling 10 jobs, but the average sale is $1,000 SBO. Now, it's not, so that's kind of an odd word way to, it's not exactly the way to say it. Their average is $20,000 a week at 50% closing, so they're really doing $2,000 an average sale, but they're getting 20 appointments, so you count the appointments that don't purchase divided by the sales, and you get 1,000 SPO. So if you look back at your numbers and if you track your customer acquisition daily, you then look at, okay, well, last year we were scheduling 60 appointments new a week. Well, then you need 3 sales guys. You need 3 educators, right? I mean, sorry, I don't edit anymore. I let it play live. So bless you, Chad. So think about this. So if you were to look at how many sweep estimates / inspections you get a week, opportunities, and if you had 4 trucks last year, let's go 3. You had 3 trucks last year, all of them doing their own work. All right. So let's break this down. So half the time they were doing sweep inspections, half the time they're doing the work. So if they did, if they were going out there to do 3 days worth of work and 2 days worth of estimating, they were probably doing, let's say, 8 jobs, new sweep / estimates a week. Okay, you had 3 trucks. So 8 times 3 is 24. So you need 3 educators, 3 sales guys to do that. Or you work them a little harder, or 6 days a week, or a half day on Saturday, and you got 2. Okay, now you have the other guys. You throw in some helpers to work in there, and now it's an easy path to have, let's just go 2 sales guys. Let's go 3. I think you should do 3. If you've got 24 jobs that you can do, you probably could have scheduled another all the jobs you didn't get because you're too booked out. You're gonna have 3 educators or 3 sales guys filled up for the week just to do inspections and sweeps. Okay, so you can schedule 60 appointments a week. I guarantee. I don't care how big you are. If you're in a small market, you can easily probably schedule 60 just for these guys to go look at. And you can do it with 15 too, or 18 jobs. I don't care, but you can probably get 20, if not 15 for sure. And even if you get 15 at 1,000 square, it's still 15,000 a week that they're going to be selling, and that doesn't include all the previous jobs that get approved that week. So really, their SPO is probably even better than 1,000. So let's think about this. Okay, so now I had 3 trucks last year. I'm going to pull 3 of them out just to sell, and I'm going to go hire 3 helpers to help the other guys to elevate true leaders. And now all you did is added 3 guys, 3 sales guys. You added 3 guys. Now you've got 3 trucks doing 3 guys sales. Probably only need, and you might have to add 1 more truck. So because you're going to typically have a truck is probably going to do $12,000 worth of work a week. So you probably need 1 more truck to go out and service the $20,000 in sales per guy. Okay, so easy. So now you've got a business with 4 crews. You've only added 4 people, and you're making more money. So when you look at that in the wintertime, and you start, and I'll just take a calculator out here and grab my glasses. So you take 3 guys doing 60,000 a week, right? Okay, that's in sales. You now have 8 guys out in the field. Okay, so let's just say you're paying them, I don't know, 800 a week. So 8 times 800, that's 6,400. Add another 20% in taxes, so it's just 20. So 800 times 6, 48. 10% is 400. So let's go 7,000 in labor. Okay, 7,000 labor, and those guys, you're going to be paying 10% roughly ish for the sales guys. So 60,000 times 10%, 6,000. So 6,000 for them. Plus, add another for taxes. Let's just go 8. So your labor is only 16, 17,000 a week for 60,000 plus your office, and then your materials. You'll be getting it. You start seeing what I'm doing here. Your numbers get so much better because now you're getting work done and you're getting more customer service versus sell it, go do it, sell it, go do it, sell it, go do it. Even for small companies, it works better. And so when you start looking at, so like here's my numbers. So SBO of 1,000, 6 sales guys out there. If they're all doing 20,000, 6, that's $140,000, right? So that's good. $12,000 a truck is my average crew, what they do a week. So you start looking at that. I'm doing 120 to 140,000 a week in sales. My labor about that, I'll probably be at around $90,000 in bills on that. So I'm making anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 a week, depending on what we're doing. Now, that's a real quick rundown of how we look at how we're going to staff. We have the appointments to do it. And so the question is, can you staff to do it and staff properly? So it is a higher level of thinking of how are you going to solve your business to keep everybody going. And then, so if you're smaller, then your question is, well, how do I maintain this in the off season? Well, it's a good question. I mean, can you maintain 60 appointments a week? Probably not. But that's when you if you have to, you keep your crew leaders and you'll have to lay off your helpers. And so, because helpers are easier to find. But as you start building, you start keeping crew leaders and keeping your sales educators, and that's how the world goes around. And then you start doing it. So the answer, which we are finding out, and it is working, is learning how to do big masonry. A lot of guys don't do big masonry. It's very new to me. We have done big masonry with a sub. Do we concentrate on it? No. But we started concentrating on it about 3 weeks ago, and we've sold 3 big rebuilds already. And I sent 3 guys to training with the CSI masonry class, and we've done 2 of the 3 big jobs. And they knew Chad Murray masonry, which is not great. I can do stone work because it's not I know how to chip around the block and make the stone all look, shape the stones and get it. And I'm pretty good at that. But brick, I was never that great at brick. I was okay enough to build a couple rows and then put a cap over the first row of the top row so you could cover it up. But these guys went to just 2 to 3 days of training, and they already had a basis on how to do a lot of the stuff just for working with me long enough. They pretty much got fine-tuned, and I'm ready. I'm trying to push management to take on, to get my 3 guys that went to do a big rebuild. Let's get on it, man. Let's do it. Let's go get in trouble. And so if I get in trouble, I got my sub to go help us out. That's my backup plan. But a lot of guys, when they're looking at how to change their business and how to scale, You don't have to scale and change to make your business better to separate sales from work. You can maintain that and make more money. I guarantee you'll make more money if your guys aren't doing if you separate sales and the work. I did it when I had 4 trucks. That's when I did it. And so I separated it. I believe I went to 3 sales guys, hired a couple of guys to do it. I actually had one guy that wanted to work on his own out in the field, and we had him doing easy stuff. Like he'd do a job a day, a full, but that guy's actually still with me today. But finally we had to tell him, you're going to have another guy. We need you to do more money a day. And so, but trying to get everybody to figure out how to scale or make more money with what you currently have. Looking at what everybody else is doing, we're doing it for a reason. These bigger companies, like, we didn't do what you did and then when we had 20 trucks, flip over to this model. We started a lot younger than that. I started at 4 trucks is when I separated, and I went from 4 trucks to 7 trucks. And that's how, we built up, in the wintertime, I've got 32 trucks running. We had 29, we have 32 now. Now, to be fully honest here, there's a box trucks and some different things. So service trucks, so if you really want to know the business for me in the wintertime, truck-wise, we're dealing with, 6 or 7 trucks in Houston. We've got, I'm trying to think in Dallas here, we'll have 6 to 7 educators and then another 12 to 13 trucks in out in the field. And then we'll have 2 or 3 trucks in Oklahoma City. So it's around 23 to 25 trucks really running around actually doing chimney work. And then we've got our support trucks, box trucks, and doing different things like that. So, but we built that off of starting with the model of that, and so we separated the sales at 4 and then grew. I was cut off in my mind at $1 million. I didn't think I could do more than $1 million in Dallas. And it really was a roadblock for me because I thought that was as much. I had about 1.5. Like, Dallas can't do more than 1.5 million in a year. That's ridiculous. His chimneys is hot out, blah blah blah. Well, we're already doing like 3.5 million in Dallas. Houston's a smaller market, and Oklahoma City's a smaller market, and and we are definitely growing all of it even as we speak. And so, anyway, I wanted everyone to kind of open their eyes and kind of see some different things, how to hire people, how to look at your model to be a little different than you might have. Now, let's say you're there. Let's talk about marketing. How do you market your chimney business? And so one of the ways to market your chimney business is honestly is to get, make sure you're in all the normal stuff, be in Google business pages, make sure the business listings, be the top 3 pack, getting shown there, AdWords, any special publications. But there's a lot of other different ways to build your business. Go find roofers that you can install chimney caps for. Join the Roofers Association. It's big. We have 350 roofers, I think, now that we do business with. It's really $1 million part of our business every year. And so that's almost exclusively in Dallas. We're just starting to pump it out in Houston, and we don't have enough people in Oklahoma City to service that as of right now. But Dallas, all those roofers are in Dallas. There's that many roofers in Dallas. And I would say, I don't know, 30 or 40 of them consistently order every week more than 1 cap. And right now we had a hailstorm, so we're already doing, we have just an educator right now just doing contractor roofing cap estimates. That's all he does. And so, but ways to market your business outside of that, there are different ways to do it. Obviously, we're terrible at call forwarding. We don't schedule anybody call forwarding for their business. We do the constant contact, throw out a couple massive emails, and see if anyone calls us, and that's what we do. We're definitely going to be doing the more schedule forwarding. We're going to start calling people in August if it's July. if it's needed to keep our guys busy. If not, we'll just throw out a constant contact. But next year, we will start scheduling everybody come springtime and late summer, so that we don't have to service the repeat business during the season. So takes a little effort out of the call center. Yes, you're going to need that. But the call center is definitely a position that you can do a lot of sales with if you just put them to the grind to be calling people. I mean, if you did 500 clients last year, someone should be calling all 500 clients last year. And your girl just answer the phone all the time. If you got one or two girls, that one person. Think about it. You're paying that person probably $500 to $600 a week. How many jobs does that person have to sell for you to make it even for you to justify that person? That's what the call centers. And I mean, I'm heavy. Well, right now we're right at the where we normally we're light in my eyes in my own call center right now, and I think we are hiring. I like to be heavy on the call center because I would rather them pick up every single call and know that one call could be a $10,000 to $15,000 job. So I've built my business off of that. So if you're not heavy in the call center, even if you're a 2-truck company, you need a person in the call center. If they schedule one estimate for you a week that you couldn't schedule, they paid for themselves. One. And of course they're going to schedule more than one. If you're a guy in a truck literally listening to me and you're like, I can't afford a person in a call center, at least even at their own home answer the phones for me, you're wrong. You can't afford not having them. That position will make you more money when you're starting to grow your business than if you added 2 trucks. Because if you're not answering the phone and you train them to answer the phone, they're going to schedule you more appointments than you can handle. Guaranteed. And so one of the things that's interesting, and I just was listening to a new book that I haven't read from Michael E. Gerber, the greatest little small business in the world. And I've read almost all of his books, so it's actually it's a little boring to me until he starts getting these little nuggets, but it is a little different. But he started to talk about networking with your competitors, and then you listen to John Caesar, how he, at Caesar Chimney, how he gives a key to one of his competitors and comes in. And I don't know if he said it or not. I don't know if it's Steve Scally. I'm guessing. Maybe he told me that. I don't even know who his competitor is. But the fact of the matter is that he's friendly with them, and then they feed off each other, giving each other jobs. I know a couple other guys that I coach. They actually don't even advertise, and some of their competitors are giving them jobs and like making a business out of it. They're so busy from referrals from competitors. Wow. I have referred some to other competitors. Not much. I'm not going to lie. Not much. But I would love to have enough business eventually to be able to offer that to them or give it to me. If they had stuff they can't do, and give it to me. So I guess if you're listening in Texas and Oklahoma City, give me a call. If you want more business or you need to give me more business, let's figure it out. Call me up. I mean, I try to be as friendly to every competitor unless you used to work for me. And then, quite frankly, you know what I can say about that in a former podcast. But although I have no grudges anymore, I don't care. Fact of the matter is, I'm me. I'm going to be me, and that's it. So you be you as well. Okay. Just all a hodgepodge today. I am going to try to have a guest on next week. I don't know who it is yet. I've got a million people from the expo I can bring on here that I met, and I just haven't gotten there to figure it out. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. If, I know this airs on Thursday, and I'm on Wednesday nights on Chat with Chad on Chimney World. If you're not in the Chimney World, you should be. It's come in, invite yourself in, and I will approve you, or Mark Stoner will approve you. Tuesday nights is Surefire Live. That's a great little show. He's having a lot of business people on there. It's been real interesting as of late. Oh, it's always been interesting, but I mean, I really like the business side of stuff. And then, of course, if you need an inspection program, Barry Bare Hands Pro is our new. We're hopefully going to be implementing it here real soon, but it is awesome. So again, everybody, thanks for coming and spending the day with me with Outside the Business Box, or at least 35 minutes with me. And God bless you all. Have a good week.